Greetings, listener. It's been a while. To begin, at our last episode, we had one more recording session before we took an unexpected break. This break was because of personal life instances that happened, as well as I had our recording equipment stolen, which also had all of our future recordings on it. It admittedly put me into a rough mental state, which I'm not going to go into great detail about, but on the positive side, it gave me time to really flesh out what it was that I wanted to do with this campaign. This campaign is still going to be based within my world with homebrew monsters that I create, but while harkening back to traditional monsters, encounters, and legends that may have been explored within traditional Dungeons & Dragons. With that being said, it's time to introduce new characters, because again, life happens. And unfortunately, Devin, Avonlea, and Matt will no longer be joining us. Certainly, no ill will is wished upon these amazingly lovely friends of mine. However, the adventure must continue on, and we will be introducing two new members of our party, Tara and Kate. In turn, so that we may still tell a compelling and cohesive story, we're going to be re-recording the previous two episodes you may have already listened to, so bear with us as we get back up to speed. Certainly there will be differences within each party, so we hope that you still listen in to these first two episodes. In addition, we are now more well-equipped to produce only the best product for you, the listener. So bear in mind that there are going to be a couple different changes that will probably be picked up on in terms of our recording quality, especially because we are no longer going to be meeting in person due to scheduling, as we are all adults trying to find time to do this. What we're going to try and do is we're going to do video conference with all of us using the same recording equipment. That way it's easier for me to mix solo as the producer of this podcast. Anyways, with all of that being said, here are the new introductions for our characters in The Bastard Children of Everil and Unbardun Adventure. Well, hey there, gang.
Hello, hello.
What's
Howdy.
Hola.
Howdy, guys.
Enthusiastic greeting.
Enthusiastic greeting. I love it. This is a time to be enthusiastic, because guess what? This is The Bastard Children of Everil and Unbardun Adventure. Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited for this campaign. This is going to be a heck of a lot of fun. So first things first, what we're going to do is we're going to introduce our cast of players and of characters. So what we're going to do real quick is I'm just going to go down the list so that everyone can get used to hearing your voice specifically. And I'm just going to call out the player name real quick, and you just say a greeting, a good hello, all of that sort of fun stuff. And then what we're going to do after that is, after players' names, I'm going to go back around the circle, and then you guys are going to get the chance to give your character's name, the appearance of your character, so just a general description of who your character looks like. So race, what their class will be after session 0 or session 1. And general clothing, all that sort of good stuff, and how old they are, all of that fun, happy hop. Okay, so Noah, go ahead and introduce yourself. Noah Carter, because I am Noah Woodyard. I'm the Dungeon Master for The Bastard Children of Everil and Unbardun Adventure. I realized that I didn't actually say that earlier. Yeah, I'm your Dungeon Master. This is going to be a lot of fun. So Noah Carter, hey, Noah Carter, go ahead and get everybody to listen to your voice, just a quick hello, and then we're going to circle back on everybody to do a character introduction, okay?
Hey guys, this is Noah Carter. Nice to meet all of you, at least vocally anyway.
All right, awesome. Chaz, you're up next, buddy.
Hi, I'm Chaz, and that grating sound that you hear that's beginning to bleed in your eardrums, that's me.
Love it. Jason.
Hi, I'm Jason Morse. I'm here.
Jason Morse is here. You guys don't sound excited. Come on, get a little bit happier. Kate, show us what excitement is.
Don't do it, Kate.
We're trying to be professional.
Hi, I'm Kate. I don't know if it's going to be as exciting.
That was
But
perfect.
yeah, this is what I sound like.
That's what I sound like.
All right, awesome. So that's Kate. And Tara, last but not least.
Hi, I'm Tara. I've been starving for some Un Bardoon, so I'm just absolutely thrilled to be doing this. I was not a part of the original podcast, and I'm honored to be a part of the new one.
Yeah. So what that means, this is take 2 of our podcast because I had some recording equipment stolen, life stuff happens, all that sort of good stuff. So, you know, little bit different with a little bit of a different party. A couple people left. We've had 2 people new join into it. And this is going to be our cast for the whole season of it. And I'm really looking forward to this adventure. All right. So back around the circle real quick. Oh, again, Noah Woodyard. That's me. I'm the Dungeon Master. Back around the circle again. We're going to go to Noah Carter to give character name, voice, the appearance, and their age. Noah Carter, you're up, buddy.
My name is Abaddon Renivar of House Renivar. I am an elf, 27 years old, 6'2". The best colors to describe me are gold, and more gold. Golden eyes, golden skin, golden hair. Clothing, I'm a priestly kind of man, God-fearing, if you will. But you may find me mostly in priest vestments.
Very good. Abaddon, quick question here. What is your class going to be after our session 0?
After session 0, it will be Paladin.
Paladin. Abaddon the Paladin.
I didn't mean for that to rhyme, but, that's pretty cool. Thanks for pointing that out, DM.
Sorry, that was a complete accident. I didn't fit. Oh yeah, there.
I've been
awesome.
sitting on this for like 2 years at this point and never thought about
Still
that
have not.
at all.
Awesome. All right. Chaz, your character's name, their general appearance, including race and class, and their age.
My name. Sorry about that. My name's Buddy Lucky Hands. I'm about. I would describe myself as about a halfway mixture between Danny DeVito and Beetlejuice. I am a half elf. I'm in my 40s, but I look like I'm in my 50s, and I'm lying. I am a stout 5'1", and I would describe myself as ratty, sleazy, balding, got a little bit of a paunch going. I'm just living my best life out there. My pronouns are obviously he, him, because I gotta be good with the PC crowd. I don't want to get canceled again. And if I had to describe myself with one word, it would be a gift.
Buddy Lucky Hands is such a gift. Oh my gosh.
Well, that's technically 2 words.
Yeah. Well, let's not split
also
split
can only
hairs.
count that well.
You can only count to 1?
No, I can actually count to 41.
That's how old he is, right? 41?
That's right. Next year I'll be able to count to 42. I mean, what's after that?
Nothing. You stop aging.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm looking
depending on
forward
how
to
this
that day
campaign
whenever
goes.
Right. I'm looking forward to that day whenever I turn whatever age it is that comes after 41 and I just stop.
Well, don't spoil it for me.
Right. Yeah. I won't. You may hit it before. All right. Buddy Lucky Hands, what was your race and class one more time?
So I'm a half elf, and I was gonna be a warlock. Celestial. That's for them goody two shoes. Fae, Archfey.
That's the class, is Archfey?
Archfey Warlock.
Warlock. Good.
And that, I'm sorry, it doesn't rhyme with the Lucky Hands. I'm sorry.
warlocky hands. Noah Carter, real quick before we move on to Jason. Your race and class one more time, bud.
It's elf. If would you like specific elf subtype or just general elf?
Go specific.
He's an Eladrin.
Eladrin. Elf.
And paladin.
Oh my gosh. Eladrin, Abaddon, the Paladin.
Paladin.
Yeah.
Noah, do you realize what you've done?
Welcome to Sesame Street, everybody.
My name is Abaddon. I am an Eladrin, and I am also a paladin. The word of the day is soup.
All right, cool. Jason, you're up.
If I was
All
clever, I
right.
would have said you can say that again.
Character name, invoice, appearance, age, class.
Right, so my name is Quincy Direct. I am a human. I'm going to be a bard. But I spend most of my time bounty hunting around the city of Everil. I am 6'1" tall. I am of a fair complexion with about medium length brown hair that's half pulled up into a ponytail. And I have a small, well-trimmed goatee with green eyes, and am usually seen wearing kind of like a duelist attire. That is the color of Everil's flag, with the nice light green, almost chartreuse color, in the deep red. I have a cape that's kind of thrown over my shoulder for flair. And I'm also often carrying a longsword, dagger, and a pan flute.
Love it. Love it. All right, and just to recap, let's get the race and the class.
Human and bard.
All right, Kate, you're up.
Hey guys. Honestly, Tilda's voice is going to probably just sound like my voice. My name is...
Just distinguish whenever you're going in the character and whenever you're not. That's good.
My name is Tilda Elwyn, but I am now going by my halfling last name, Fairfoot. Tilda Fairfoot. Once I level up, I will be a druid. I am 3'6", about 22 years of age, so just kind of reached adulthood in halfling years. You would notice I'm undernourished. Not exactly the healthiest looking halfling in the world, but strangely muscular, especially in her arms. She's got pretty brown, unruly, just curly hair, like tied up in a half knot, brown eyes, tan skin from being outside. So not that like pretty tan, it's that like worker's tan.
It's the weathered tan, yeah.
It's the weathered tan, yeah. Freckles. I'm wearing a lot of tattered, sewed clothing that is kind of poorly put together and just gathered from random pieces of scrap fabric she could find. She's got a scar on her right cheek that goes about from her close to her eye down to her cheek. She's got another scar that she is keeping a secret. That kind of is a part of her backstory, and she is soft-spoken, a little distant, kind of quiet, but you know she's thinking something and very distrustful of people. But overall, kind to those she meets.
I love it. I love it. Very interesting. You may be able to play well with one of the other members of this party as you meet them. And just to recap, give the race and class.
Halfling, druid, and to get a little bit more specific, when I choose my circle, I will be a circle of the moon druid.
And what type of halfling?
The short kind.
Okay.
I can't remember which one I chose. Hold on.
I think you were Lightfoot.
Lightfoot.
Yeah,
Correct.
Lightfoot sounds right based off of the skin tone and everything.
I was thinking compact SUV, but
Are you sure you're not Fairfoot?
Ha ha
Ha ha ha.
ha.
Sorry for the podcast viewers. I made a very ugly face.
That
How
was
do you
very
mute people's
ugly.
microphones?
All right, awesome. Next up is also one of our new people, Tara.
My name is Helena Elias, Squad Commander Helena Elias. I've been with the Everil Grand Army for 12 years. When I level up, I'll be considered a fighter, and I'm a human. Usually you can either find me in my army-issued armor, or I just prefer a tunic and pants and boots to go around the town in. I'm 28 years of age. I have bright red hair and a lot of it. When I'm out and about, I keep it down, but when I'm on duty, I keep it in a bun, as per regulations. I have hazel eyes, tan skin, lots of freckles, about 5'6", very muscular. I do have to stay in shape for my job.
Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. And race and class, one more time for recap.
Human, fighter.
Human fighter. All right. So just to go down one more time, we have Noah Carter, Abaddon Renevar, the Eladrin Elf Paladin, Chaz, Buddy Lucky Hands, the Half-Elf Warlock, Jason, Quincy Durand, the Human Bard, Kate, Tilda Elwyn, the Halfling Circle of the Moon Druid, and Tara, Squad Commander Helena, the Human Fighter. That's a cool cast of characters. This is going to be a lot of fun. But first, before we get into our adventure, we've got to do some background building, right? Right. For those of you who are new, right. Right. So for those of you who are new listening to our podcast, or new within the world of Unbardoon, the world in which we are going to be playing, that is my homebrew world. This is a pride and joy of mine. Love it so much. We are going to go through what I call the 5 tiers of character creation. My players have gone ahead and have filled out effectively tiers 1, 2, 3, and 4 of their character backstory thus far. Tier 1 goes over general background, just the most base level background stuff, like who are your parents, what city did you come from, or town, or province? What about other members of your family or organizations? What were you surrounded by? People, places, climates, structures of civilization, etc. Tier 2 goes over living as an adolescent. So what your life was like when you were a kid? What memories specifically do you have? What was a pointed choice or choices that led you to being who you are today? So think along the lines of like going to college and getting a degree, or starting a job, going to work. Also, what was something that you maybe distinctly remember learning about the world at this time of you being an adolescent? And then from there, where did you go? Tier 3 is life before joining the party. Where are you now? How did you get where you are? Who are your friends, coworkers, rivals, or enemies? What are your passions? What made you want to join in on an adventure? What is your current viewpoint of the world? What is something of your past that you may want resolved? Tier 4 is much simpler. It's the mundane. This is where my characters or my players really delve into the mindset of their character itself, answering simple questions of what is your favorite color? What would be your favorite type of music? Where do you feel the most at peace, the most anxious, most concerned, or most intrigued? Where would you like to vacation? If you had to describe yourself in three adjectives, what would they be? What is your favorite memory from growing up? And then last, what are your top two favorite pastimes? Now, some of you who are listening say, wait a minute, that's only 4 tiers. Well, the fifth tier is the current, which can only be answered by the party once they all meet. With that being said, what we're going to do is we're going to go sort of popcorn-esque style here. And I'm going to give a question to one of my players, starting with Noah, then moving to Chaz, then moving to Jason, then to Kate, and to Tara, and move down this list where all of us are going to be answering one or two of the questions from each one of these tiers, just to get a feel more about who it is that is being played before we jump into our adventure. So Noah Carter, let's start with you, buddy. Tier 1. Let's start simple. Who were your parents?
My parents were and are Davian and Kira of House Renevar, a noble house of the kingdom of Everil. They, well, put simply, I was the third child, twins, my siblings. Lamaris, my brother, and Lethana, my sister. Based off the tradition, I was given a choice as a child.
And that choice being what specifically?
A choice that many children face when not born favorably: knighthood or priesthood. Well, I played at being a knight. I found the priesthood to be a better fit for me.
Very good, very good. House Renevar is a very well-respected house in my world. With that being said, what specifically did your parents do as being part of House Renevar?
They are lord and lady, with Kira, my mother, handling the day-to-day operation, as House Renevar is matrilineal. They serve as courtiers to the king. Nothing too important, but relative enough to gain notoriety and respect in the kingdom.
Very good. I love it. So, son of a lord and lady. It's got to have some pressures. That's pretty freaking sick. With that being said, you already answered sort of where you came from, being House Renevar. What is the pressure that you maybe felt going into either the choice of being knighted or going into the priesthood? What was that like? What was that pressure specifically? Not necessarily what made you make the choice, but what was that? Were your parents forcing it on you, or describe that to me?
Given that they already had an appropriate heir, there wasn't as much need for me to adhere to stringency, I suppose. I could have certain freedoms that a third son would have. The choice of knighthood or priesthood was not one that was forced upon me, but one that I made willingly. Though I enjoyed my time at court, I much rather learned how to defend life or to guide it, shepherd it through this world.
I love that. That's so cool. That is so cool. Um, Let me hit you with one more tier 1 background question real quick. What were you surrounded by? Being people, places, climates, structures of civilization, etc.
I was surrounded by nobles at first, and I enjoyed their company for a time. Then I was surrounded by tutors, teachers, many healers, many warriors. But at 14, I was struck upon meeting a man named Caradon. He enlightened me to the finer points of being an acolyte. And though I have not yet been chosen by a god, I eagerly await my chance.
I love that. I love that so much. So was Carradine like your priest instructor? Like, was Carradine also a priest?
I would not say instructor. He
Okay.
was around an age with me, and he inspired me to join.
Okay. Good deal. So instead of it being an instructor, just a comrade, someone who you had a close, maybe knit relationship with as you are navigating what it would be to be in the priesthood. A trench buddy, right?
Essentially, yes. That is a good way of putting it.
All right. I love it. I love it. Okay. That answers all of that for tier one for you, Master Noah Carter, aka Abaddon Renavar. Chaz, you are up next. Buddy Lucky Hands.
That wasn't enough panache to say that with. You gotta say, buddy, look at
Buddy Lucky Hands. That's
Yeah,
it.
it's a little better. Yeah.
Buddy Lucky Hands. Let's start with you. Who were your parents?
Well, you see, I come from a long line of whores, so don't know my dad. No idea who he could be. Probably some. Well, let's talk about the mother first. The mother's the most important thing, mitochondrial DNA. We get all that stuff from them. So my mother was not just a whore, she was the whore. She was the princess of the docks. She was just like, bam, voluptuous blonde bombshell. You know what I'm saying? It was great. It was wonderful. Great mother, great mother. I miss her dearly every single day of my life. Anyway, so who knows who my father could be? I'm assuming an elf based on my pointy ears and my prolonged life disposition.
Sure, sure. Okay. Now you said you said you had sort of a whore mother, the princess.
Oh,
of
you can't say that
Docs.
about her. You can't say that her.
Oh,
You
I'm
have to
sorry. I'm
call
sorry.
her.
I'm sorry.
You have to call her Lady of the Night.
Yes, your Lady of
Yeah.
the Night mother, aka the
Yeah.
Princess of Docs. What was her name?
Of the doc.
Of the Docs. I'm sorry.
Her name was Ariadna.
Ariadna.
Yeah.
Ariadna. I love it.
And she chose to name you Buddy.
Well, my name isn't actually Buddy.
Okay.
Pal.
It's actually
It's what's called a pseudonym.
guys, light spoilers, but Buddy's real name is actually Bartholomew.
Oh,
Bartholomew.
How dare you?
I hate
How
that.
dare you?
I hate that a lot. All right. Awesome. And you said that you didn't know your father. That's kind of interesting. So, who were you like specifically raised by? Were you raised by your mother?
No, my mother died when I was very young. I was raised by the madame of the house that she worked on, Madame Cinnamon Black.
Madame Cinnamon Black, of course.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So Madame Cinnamon Black, so she took you in under her wing?
Oh, yeah. Great cook. Taught me. I read so many books. It was a great educational process. Better than public school. You know what I'm saying? Kate?
Wow. So you went to the charter school of the Docks.
No, I was homeschooled by whores.
Right. I've heard it both ways.
I'm really good at money.
Really good at money. So okay, so with some business sense behind you, what is a core motivation of Buddy Lucky?
Core motivation? Get
Yeah.
rich or die trying.
That's right, baby. Way to go. All right, cool. So what were you specifically surrounded by? There, not necessarily of your homeschooling, but what were you surrounded by like in this dock, you know, where did you live? Where where
I
where where was your residence?
I lived in the penthouse of a house of ill repute. I was I had a lovely bedroom. I had a four-poster bed. I had a classic Disney princess bring it up. Only that I was, in fact, surrounded by prostitutes. Lots of dock workers. I got a filthy mouth on me. What can I say? And I, you know, around the age of 13, the place burned down.
Oh
Madame
wow.
Cinnamon Black perished in that fire. Mr. Dealey, rest in peace, Queen. And you know, I found myself on the street after that. And that's just where I've been ever since, just a little gutter rat. That's me, Buddy Lucky Hands, the gutter rat.
Buddy Lucky Hands, the gutter rat,
Yeah.
son of the Lady of the Night Mother, the Princess of Docks, raised by the Madame Cinnamon Black.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Wow, wow,
When you
wow.
put it like
I mean, just getting a summation, it's
that, it makes me sound kind of cool. And
it
a little
does sound
sexy.
cool. What that's awesome. Um, okay, cool. We're gonna hit a little bit more of some fun stuff with your background here in just a few minutes. But next up is Jason Quincy Durant.
That just reminds me of like the radio show, like you're watching Quincy Durant. I don't know. All that stuff. Yeah. So what was your question?
Yeah. So my question for you is going to be let's just get the same question for tier one for most people. Who were your parents?
Yeah, my mother was Genevieve Durand. She was quite a hothead in her day. Not the traditional woman, that's for sure. She taught me my love for song, and I'm told that I inherited her temperament, her musical talent, her wit, and her looks. Um, she, we were very close growing up. My father is or was Sir Leopold Durand, Knight of Everil. He was not around very much as his job was very demanding, but he did teach me the art of swordsmanship. I never really felt connected to him, but he did his best. He was dishonorably discharged about 16 years ago, and our social standing plummeted. So, not long after that, my mother kicked him out, which was good, but also bad because she and I both had to work to make enough to support ourselves along with my two younger siblings. So, that led to a rather difficult child.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Um, so catch me again here. So you were the son of a knight
That's
who
right.
taught you the swordsmanship and everything. What did your mother do for a living?
She did a lot of, homemaking after she was married. So back in her day, she was actually part of a traveling circus. Um, and, that's where she picked up a lot of the songs and different talents that she seemed to have. And I don't know, her voice always seemed pretty magical to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, what is a cool this is me putting you this is me putting you kind of on the spot here. What is a cool memory of one of the stories that your mother would have told you about the traveling circus?
Ah,
Yeah, no, that's putting you on the spot. I know you don't have that like I doubt you have that written down.
well, there was one one story that she would tell on occasion, um, where one of her acts, she would kind of rotate depending on the town and what they thought that the clientele would like. But one of her acts was to juggle knives. Um,
Oh,
and
that's cool.
so one day, everything was going along as it should. But then suddenly there was a lot of commotion. Um, and she spotted someone running away with several pouches full of gold that they had taken from the audience. And so then she planted about five knives into that that assailant. Um,
Oh, wow.
did not kill him though, because she was so trained with it that she knew exactly where to put it. Um,
Masterful at her skill.
and that's actually when Sir Leopold first took note of her.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Oh, what a cute little love story. Near murder turns into,
Exactly.
yeah, that's so wholesome ish.
It was great. It worked for her.
That's super awesome. That's super awesome. That's a great story. I love that. I love that. Did you inherit any of those knife skills as well? I know your dad, Sir Leopold taught you swordsmanship. Did you also get taught how to work around with knives?
Oh yeah, yeah. That
Good.
was some of the things that she kind of tried to teach me. I didn't pick it up quite as well as she did. Obviously, she trained for years. Um, but storytelling and song and that sort of thing were more my uh, motif.
Very cool. Very, very, very cool. I love it, man. I love it. All right. Next up is oh, did I give you your second question? No, I just asked who your parents were. Jason, I'm sorry. Um, so after your family fell from station after the dishonorable discharge of your father, Sir Leopold, um, what were you surrounded by afterwards? Where did you live during that time? What was that sort of social climate like?
So obviously, in the first part of my life, I grew up around a lot of nobility and knights and other high-ranking people, going to balls and you know hearing about politics and all that.
Yeah.
Uh, but the other part of my youth was spent in some of the rougher parts of the city, not quite in the rougher, Buddy Lucky Hands part of the city. Um, but there was still a lot of crime and gambling, violence, and other things that were very common uh, where we ended up having to move to. And so that kind of made me realize the help that the city needed, that the knights and the guards of Everil did not always see.
Gotcha. That's super cool. That's super cool. So that gave you an interesting motivation then thereafter.
Right. Right.
Very cool. Very, very, very cool. All right. Now up next is one of our new players, Kate. Kate, is this isn't your first time doing the 5 tiers with me, is it?
I think it's the first time that I've officially finished the 5 tiers. I did start for my last character, but we just, as was in character, did not finish the 5 tiers.
Okay, okay, that's fair. That's very fair. I'm just curious because I personally love the 5 tier method. I think that it's a pretty cool tried and true thing at this point.
No,
I
I
do.
loved it. I had a lot of
Yeah,
fun thinking through it.
yeah, yeah. It's and if it's supposed to be almost like interview style questions, like what we're doing here now. So let me go ahead and ask you the same question as what I'm asking everybody else right now. Who were your parents? Tilda Elwyn.
So my biological parents are unknown. I was dropped off at an orphanage in Everil when I was born, kind of classic baby in a basket at the front door situation. I was adopted at the age of 2 by the High Elf Elwyn family. They are very prestigious and posh and political and high names in the city of Everall. My adopted mother's name was Eldoloth Elwyn, and my adopted father's name is Egon Elwyn. They're really into alliteration.
Yeah.
I have 2 twin sisters, Finde and Artis. And I'm sure we'll get more into it with life as an adolescent, but they were not the nicest people.
Okay.
Um, the mother, Eldoloth, was very posh, cool, calculating, very concerned with her image, both physically but also socially. She's the actual head of the family, wears the actual pants. She's very cruel and abusive towards me growing up, and very overbearing and micromanaging towards her actual biological twin daughters.
Okay.
Now,
Interesting.
yes, now the adopted father, Egon, he was kind of always hiding in his study, lets Eldoloth do whatever she wished in the household occasionally. He would show some kindness to me. One of his things he would do for Tilda, especially after a very cruel and unsettling moment from Eldoloth, was he would kind of slip her a book from his study so that she could read it in her quote unquote room, um, to have something of comfort and joy in her life. And so that was kind of his one point of kindness, but he really was very standoff and away. And then the sisters were always vying for Eldoloth's attention, trying to be better than each other, prettier than the other one, kind of pushing Tilda down a lot because they didn't want her in the house. They were here first. Why would they want her here?
Right. Right. No, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, and we are going to get into a little bit more of that within your adolescence, but I want to talk about your dad real quick. Um, what types of books would he not necessarily sneak, but would he pass over to you sort of discreetly? So not again, not sneaking necessarily because he wasn't doing anything wrong, but what type of books would he what type of books would he give? Would it be, fiction or nonfiction? What, go ahead.
Primarily fiction. I think he realized how Eldoloth was treating me, and just kind of her very nature, but not being very strong enough to defend even his own daughters against her. So he would provide me works of fictions, the hero going out to slay the dragon, the princess who needed to be saved, or even the princess saving herself. We're progressive up in this house.
Right.
Um, but a lot of that fairy tale like books, fiction primarily again. And though you say he was not doing something wrong in the eyes of Eldoloth, I could not have anything that was not approved by her. So it was a bit of a sneak.
Oh,
They
interesting.
were hidden.
Okay. Okay. So hidden books. That's kind of cool. And you said mostly works of fiction. You said basically adventuring books, like
Basically,
hero books, right? Is that what you
the
said?
hero's journey, the slaying the dragon, the basic kind of fairy tale. A lot of books, surprisingly for a man of high status, he had a lot of those escapism books. I think he wanted to escape his own life as well, and noticed that I too needed that escape, and so would provide me those books.
Gotcha. Okay. I love that. That is super cool. Did you have a favorite that had a lasting impact on you? This is sort of your last question because you answered everything else within tier one background. Did you have a specific book or anything like a general story type that really mattered to you that you took to heart?
I think as the classic, like, poor adopted daughter who is being oppressed by her stepmother, well, not stepmother, but adopted mother, I found the stories, wink wink, twin sisters. There's a bit
Right,
of a
right.
basic background there. Um,
It's not basic if it's
but
classic.
it's a classic. But the stories that had the maiden kind of save herself, the princess saves herself in this one. She was into those because I think she wanted to see herself in that, though the concept of fighting for herself was terrifying, and she could not do it much. So if she could do it in her books, then she was happy.
Sure, sure. I love that. Um, I said that was your last question for tier one background. I'm gonna actually give you one more. Um, excuse me. If you had to pick a real world book from like Earth, but then put it into Bardu, what would have Tilda's favorite book have been from Earth?
That's fun. I'm trying to think more classic wise. I think The Princess Bride.
I was literally thinking the exact same thing. I kid you not. I was
I
literally thinking The Princess
First
Bride.
of all, me, Kate, as a player, loves The Princess Bride. And though Princess Buttercup is a bit more of the, oh, so, hey, save me,
Dainty,
she
yeah.
has her moments of, I am here, I can save myself. But the cast of characters in it, the giant, the drunkard, the people who I think more resonate with Tilda are represented in that book. And it was just really good. And we love some rats of unusual sizes.
Oh yeah, we love a good ROUS. Um, Other players, real quick, just to chime in real quick, not to necessarily interrupt the five tiers, but I think this is a funny thing. Have you all read Princess Bride as well?
I have not read it, no.
I have,
Not
yes.
read it, but like watch all the time.
I watch movies with subtitles, so yes.
Oh, okay. So wait, Tara, did you say that you have read it?
I haven't.
Noah, you said that you had. Okay, cool. So for Noah and Kate, did you guys read the extended edition of
Gosh. This
where
is no
it
longer
has
D&D.
No. Hold on. This has a real
It
thing.
is a podcast.
Hold
though.
on,
It
hold
is a
on. This has a
podcast.
real thing. Specifically the extended ending, which is the Child of Buttercup.
No, I read whatever copy was available in the elementary school library.
Dude,
Also
okay,
same.
homework for everyone. Read the alternate ending or the extended ending, alternate ending, whatever it's called, which is the Child of Buttercup, and you really get to see Buttercup kick some serious ass. It's awesome.
Also, I like how we just turned into Joe Rogan. Hey Jamie, pull up the extended edition of The Princess Bride up. Read it to him right now.
Is it-
Jamie.
That's
Compare us to
not
Joe
what we're
Rogan.
doing.
Pull that up, Jamie.
Gross.
You can't read the theatrical release of the book anymore once you've seen the extended edition.
Yeah.
Right.
Aragorn broke his toe on that
Shut up!
helmet.
It was Wesley that broke his toe.
No.
Broke his toe on that
No,
ROS
Wesley
when the Fire
Gandalf really hit his head on that ceiling too.
Okay.
No, Wesley, Carrie Elwes, Wesley broke his rib from laughter during the shooting of that film, where they had to delay production of the film. And you know the scene where he's supposed to be like asleep and drunk right before they storm the castle. That is literally, it's not even a body double. It's literally just a mannequin with Carrie Elwes's face on it, because he couldn't keep it together. It was so funny.
He asked to be
Welcome to
knocked
the
out.
Princess Broadcast.
we need to continue on.
Yes, we do.
Cut this out in post. Cut it out.
Nope, it stays in, baby. Tara, you are up next. Thank you so much, Kate. That was awesome. For your first go at tier one background as well. I'm really looking forward to seeing how your orphaned self then was adopted and all that sort of fun stuff. I'm excited to see how that plays into some of the decisions that you make. All right, Tara.
Hello.
Helena. Let's see. Elias. Thank you. Helena Elias. Who were your parents?
Helena was weirdly much like Buddy Lucky Hands, raised in a brothel. Her mother was a courtesan in a high-end brothel. So she knew her mom, but it was kind of like all the courtesans were everybody's mom, because whoever was off duty was the person who took care of the kids. So she ran around with a pack of other brothel brats.
Yeah. Okay, super cool. Was your mother also sort of like Buddy Lucky Hands, a woman of the night?
Oh yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So that's why. So courtesans are high-end,
Right.
Seen on the arm of lords and ladies at the theater or that sort of thing. So she was a very high-end, where I get the sense that Buddy's mom maybe catered to a lower class clientele. Chaz is making faces at me, listeners.
Such
Carry on,
pointed
my
words.
My mother was the best at. You can't take that from her. You cannot.
Whoa.
She
That
punked
escalated quickly.
sailors and whatchamacallit, and kings. Everybody in between. You can beep it. I don't care.
Don't
Yeah,
take that
remove
from
the
him.
sailors part, and that's what Gisela Elias did. Was kings and lords and ladies and high end.
I love it. I love it. Okay, cool. All right. So beyond being raised in a brothel, who all were you surrounded by?
Courtesans, male and female, the other children who had been conceived, some of the children who were brought into the brothel to be trained as courtesans. So just a whole mix of people.
Okay, gotcha. All right, very, very cool. Now you mentioned about your mother. What about your father? Did you know anything about him? Anything like that?
Nope.
Not a thing. Good deal.
Yep. Pregnancies were usually discovered when a woman's monthly courses just didn't show up.
Sure.
So with their profession, unless you had someone who had sort of reserved you for an extended period of time, you really didn't have any idea.
That's so upsetting that you just said reserved. My hotel background is like, oh yeah, I made a booking for a month of things
Accompaniment,
to
companionship.
accompaniment. That's 100%. Okay, cool. All right, awesome. Did your mother tell you any stories, anything?
Helena's mother really romanticized the courtesan life. Oh, they give you jewels and fancy dresses, and you get to go out to delicious dinners and see theater and orchestras, and sometimes they take you to the seaside or to the mountains, because Helena, as an attractive young woman, was being trained to work in the brothel when she turned 16.
Okay. Gotcha.
So there was never specific stories about, oh, this one man really stole my heart, because her mother was not a very sentimental woman.
Sure, more meticulous, calculated business, right?
Yeah. But there was a lot of, I do care for this child that I have birthed, so I am going to almost indoctrinate her into thinking that this is a wonderful thing for her to be doing.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. And then that all changed, right?
Yeah, so Helena went, no, I'm not buying this. And also her just natural personality. She ran at the pack of the head of the pack of brothel brats. She was, they weren't super supervised. They were cared for. So she, let's go do this. Let's go do that. Was very much a driven leader. And she went, to put it a little crassly, I'm not going to be on my back. I'm going to be on my feet doing something. And ran away the night before her bidding, which is where she would have sort of been almost like a debutante, but reversed into the brothel on the night of her 16th birthday. She ran away and joined the army.
Right. Okay. Cool. And we're going to hit a little bit more of that into your adolescent side of things here in just a second. All right. Cool. I think that about covers background from everybody. Did anybody have any comments about background to each other? Any questions to follow up on that before we get into adolescence?
Actually, yeah. Quincy, approximately how old were you when your dad was discharged?
I was about 12.
Okay, so listeners, Jason and I have chatted a little bit about how our characters were both Army affiliated. They're both 28. And so I didn't know if maybe Helena and your dad would have like crossed paths in the loosest of senses, but no.
No, it was about 16 years ago. And you joined 12 years ago.
Yeah. Yep.
But I am thinking that we would have seen each other around.
Would Helene have heard of your dad?
Oh, I'm sure he was.
Like
He
big
was.
scandal when he was honorably discharged?
Oh, absolutely.
Cool.
Um, yeah, I don't think that Quincy ever heard the official reason. So there's a lot of like questioning
Speculation.
and speculation. So there's a lot of talk about, oh, Sir Leopold, uh, the shamed.
Ooh.
So yeah, but we would have ran into each other during probably my bounty hunter excursions.
Yeah, probably circumstantially, they've seen each other like once.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Let me ask this real quick as sort of a round table thing, unless anybody else has any more questions about early background stuff, right? I'm seeing shaking heads. Very good. Okay, so I'm gonna go down the list real quick, and you let me know the city that you would have resided in for the majority of your life. So, okay. Okay. Noah, you're up first. What city do you come from?
Everil.
You come from Everil. Chaz?
Everil, baby. I'm born and bred. I'm from this greatest city in the world. Head down to the bodega down the street. I'm having it all.
What's up, my brother from Everil?
Don't talk to
Dap
me.
me up.
All right. Jason. Obviously, Knight of Everil was your Sir Leopold was a Knight of Everil.
Yeah, so of course I'm from Cleveland.
Right.
You
Cleveland,
know,
Massachusetts.
Down in
Not
Ohio?
Cleveland, Ohio.
Down in
yeah.
Ohio.
I don't think there is a Cleveland in Ohio, Noah. Don't know where you came up with that, but all right. Yeah, so Everall.
Okay. Okay. All right. Kate.
Not to be unoriginal, but also Everall. However, I was raised in an estate where I did not leave the walls, so I barely have seen the city.
Okay.
Okay, Hunchback.
Excuse me.
Listeners, Noah Carter just came for me, calling me a hunchback.
Oh, I'm glad you finished that sentence.
I wasn't gonna pull that one.
Cancel him. Sorry.
All right.
We can't have a
what's the next?
cancellation we can't have a cancellation
Fix it in
session
post.
0.
Not
Censor it.
another one. That's
Uh,
why we had to redo the podcast.
That's not
I
got canceled.
believe.
Tara, where
opinion's
did
from-
you hold on?
You should Avonlea, disgusting. She knows what she did.
No.
Don't do that. Come on. Tara, what city did you hail from?
Everil.
Very good. So we have 5 people specifically from Everil, not from surrounding counties or cities or towns, provinces, etc. All 5 of which coming from Everil. Very interesting.
What
Very,
are
very
citizens of Everil called? Like Everillians? That feels
That's
like
exactly it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everillian.
Yeah.
I was gonna go with
Everillians.
G's, but
I like it.
Yeah. All right, cool. We're gonna go back down the line, but we're gonna speed through things just a little bit. I'm only gonna ask you one question. It's gonna be again popcorn style for going down the same list here. Noah, we're going with living as an adolescent. Okay. And I'm gonna do my best to choose a different question for you guys for each one of these. So just bear that in mind. We may not all have the same prompt that I'm giving it. Okay. Noah Carter, living as an adolescent for Abaddon, what memories do you have specifically of your adolescence?
I remember the smell of books in the library of the house. This was before I joined the priesthood, before most of the books were either scholarly or priestly. These were just normal nonsense books, nothing deep, but their smell brought me comfort. The smell of new and old books hanging in the air.
Right.
And then there was the ring outside my house, where I learned to ride a horse, and where I learned to wield a sword. It
Very good.
was peaceful.
Good deal. Good deal. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Actually, because we're speeding through this, I'm going to give you two questions. Just make sure everybody's answers are somewhat brief. All right. So that was living as an adolescent for them. Um, what was something that you distinctively remember about learning of the world once you decided to move towards the priesthood instead of knight?
That the particular chapter that I became a member of, an acolyte of, you enter with an unstamped holy symbol. Only when a revelation is bestowed upon you, either through great deeds or attention from the gods, do you become the priest you are meant to be.
Interesting. Okay, super cool. And you mentioned in tier one that you still had not necessarily been chosen by a specific god, right?
Correct. I've not been selected. Not yet. Though it may take time. The gods work in mysterious ways, after all.
That it does. That it does. Okay, very good. Chaz, you're up next. I'm going to give you a different question um, for living as an adolescent. What was a specific choice or choices that led you to becoming who you are today? What was a specific life, fork in the road?
Well, I walked into a tavern one day. It was not the best of taverns. I was about 15, 16, and I saw a couple of men playing dice and cards, and I decided, hey, that seems like a way to make a quick buck. And that's also the day I lost my first finger.
What?
Yeah,
Which finger?
yeah. Pinky on the left hand, I believe.
Why?
Because I gambled more than I had, and they needed to teach me a little bit of a lesson about debt.
Oh my.
Yeah, I'm missing 3 fingers.
Oh.
So he didn't learn the lesson that quick.
Right.
No, well, it always, it takes a little bit of time to drill it in.
Third time's the charm?
Well, no, third time was the ring finger on this. Can never get married,
So 2 more mess ups, and we're not going to be able to call you Buddy Lucky Hands. We're going to be able to call you Buddy Lucky Hand, right?
You want to know something funny? The name's a bit of a joke.
Yeah, I kind of was putting that together. That's cool.
It's actually your feet that are lucky, not your hands.
I don't think we can say Buddy Lucky Feet without it being never
Too
mind.
close.
It's Buddy Wiki Feet.
Misconstrued.
Yeah. All right. So where did you go? Like as an adolescent, where did you move from after the docks? Where did you like travel through?
Well, you can the squatters' rights in Everil are, let me dare say it, non-existent. So I was kicked out of a lot of places. I would find a couple of abandoned warehouses, a sewer grate, those sorts of things. And it's like couch surfing, but in mud.
Okay.
Yeah, smell never comes out.
Right. We mentioned earlier that Tilda had sort of tattered clothes and everything. What do your clothes look like?
So, buddies, his clothes are it looks like once upon a time they were nice, just like once upon a time he was a very attractive man. I mean, very, very attractive. But time gets us all. It's gotten his face, it's gotten his clothes. And but he keeps them somewhat clean for his derelict existence, and no skid marks on those undies.
Yep. That checks out. Plenty of skidding happened. Um
Yeah.
Okay. So, gosh, I'm trying to phrase this in the best way possible. Um, so you're living in sewers, living in mud, living in destitution, right? Effectively destitution,
Yeah, from prostitution to destitution. That's a Buddy Lugahan story.
right? So are you not a good gambler, or are you a really good gambler, but you are just irresponsible?
Well, sorry. Every time instead of my thinking words being or like, I just decided to go because I
You
feel
just
like it's
spit.
character. Yeah. Anyway, Buddy Look at Hands, me. I am the best dang gambler there's ever been who loses a lot of money. But you win big, you lose big. I've won thousands of gold and I've lost it all in an instant. I have gained and
Wow.
won fortunes untold, and I've broken even.
All right.
Minus three
Well,
fingers.
Yeah, right.
right. Yeah, your version of breaking even has fewer digits than my
Well,
breaking even does.
it's okay because I have 13 toes. So
Oh,
I'm
it
breaking
makes
even.
up for it. You're still at
Oh,
20.
did
Lucky
you
feet.
win? Did you win three toes, or are those just like part of you?
No, those are a gift from my dear old dad. May he rest in peace wherever he is. I don't know who he is. He probably had multiple toes. I don't
Buddy
we all
Lucky
know.
Hands.
Told you know
We
what
all
take.
do.
I
We
guarantee you he had
You know what
multiple
I'm
toes.
He just had one. His foot was a large toe.
It's like Patrick
My
Star.
dad was a thumb from Spy Kids.
Patrick Starr is his dad. Oh my gosh.
SpongeBob. I think
SpongeBob.
That's copyright
I think I
infringement.
went to the wrong docks.
It's copyright infringement.
They call it Bikini Bottom for a reason, I guess. Um,
My gosh.
No, that's because you can't put a bikini top there, obviously.
right,
All right.
right. After Chaz, we're gonna go back to Quincy Durand, aka Jason. Um, life as an adolescent. I'm sort of opening this up to being like, what memories do you have? Your question is that, but I'm going to ask you something a little bit more specific. What memory do you have of your dad being dishonorably discharged? What did that look like for you personally?
Yeah. So around the time that my youngest sibling was about to be born, so a few months before Percy was born, he had kind of become a lot more, I don't know, distant, but also I would say aggressive to the family. Just kind of throwing out accusations. I can't even remember really what he was accusing us of, but um, he would just go away for longer stints of time and everything. But by the time that Percy was born, it had just kind of gotten to a fever pitch. Uh, and then he kind of left for uh, around 3 weeks. And suddenly, one morning, as the sun was rising, we heard a lot of commotion outside, and he was being escorted um, by the uh, by the King's Guard uh, out of the Keep of the King, through the town square, and out of the city walls, to where uh, that was kind of the parade of that was kind of a ultimate, shaming parade for knights that are discharged that way.
Yeah.
He was allowed to come back into the city, but as I said, my mom did not put up with him much longer, and we promptly left that house um, to start off on our own. But everyone's kind of been whispering ever since about what happened. never really fully heard the story. My mom, of course, knows more than she's letting on. But yeah, ever since then, I've really told myself that nobility and uh, honor really come from the individual and not their rank. Um, and I vowed to be better than he was.
That is amazing. Um, yeah, yeah. That's awesome. What a good specific memory that you have of that. So you say nobility and honor come from the individual. Does that like do you this is a weird one. Do you still carry your father's potential shame? Or have you
Well,
just completely made a name for yourself at this point and that's not part of it?
I would never admit it, but of course, I still carry that as part of my kind of uh, personal personal torment of myself to kind of overcome that shame.
Yeah.
And especially in the months before that happened, um, I of course thought all the stuff that was going on was my fault, um, as some children are wont to do in similar situations.
Right. Right. Okay. Super good. Super cool. All right. Um, where did you go after the shame of your father?
Well, we did move out of the noble house that he was given as part of being a knight, and we moved to, like I said, the rougher side of town. Um, I'm not really sure what else that would entail as far as where we went.
Yeah. That actually answered my question perfectly. Um, that you moved to the rougher side of town. What did that specifically entail? What sort of roughness were you surrounded
A lot of crime, a lot of street brawls. Actually, one of the decisions that I made at a young age, which is another one of the
by?
questions,
Yeah.
was at the age of 15. I went to go train with a friend of mine who had saved me from a street brawl. So early into all of this, I kind of started getting into fights and you know picking them more often than not. Um, and I just kind of like took it all on myself and kind of got very haughty. Um, but I was saved from one of the street fights, and he actually was the one to teach me the trade of bounty hunting, and kind of set me on a little bit of a different path than what I was on.
Gotcha. Okay. Um, what was the theme of that? So your friend strict saved you from a street brawl. What what specifically was taught? Was there like a moral behind it, or was like this is just a good way to make money and still fight at the same time? You know, what was the connection?
Well, it was kind of a way to train myself to or be more equipped to right the injustices that I was seeing, and kind of the reasons that I was picking the fights, and kind of channeling the anger that I kind of had into a different place. But he also told me or taught me during like fights or whatever to not let it affect me as much. Thanks to him and to my mother, I've become kind of like a stubborn optimist when it comes to things. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I really love that. Okay, cool. Cool, cool, cool. I think that answers that for me. Um, Kate, I'm asking you a different question this time. What was something you distinctly remember learning about the world at your time of being an adolescent?
So something Tilda learned was that you have to protect yourself at all costs. Um, she this kind of is very explained by her life as an adolescent, but her adopted parents adopted her as a form of a charity to be viewed highly amidst the crowd of politicians and whatever. So I would be paraded about like a token almost as a doll of like, look what we've done, look what we have taken in. But in private, they were abusive and cruel and frankly racist towards my little halfling self.
Sure.
Um, and she learned very early on that to kind of go within herself to obey, but to protect herself in any way she could. She is very sympathetic towards those who are mistreated or orphaned. And something else that is a part of her backstory, if you specifically ask about choices.
No, you're welcome to
It,
volunteer. That was literally my next question, anyways, was what was the specific choice that you made? But go ahead.
perfectly. So she is also sympathetic towards those who care for animals because something she learned early on, which though she is not leveled up yet and doesn't technically have the speak with animal ability and the wild shaping ability, she found out early on that she was able to commune with animals in some way. She had a connection to them: rats, cats, owls, foxes, etc. All the ones that you would see or potentially find in a city. Maybe not foxes, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
um,
any other mammal,
yeah.
mammal city dwelling creature. Yeah.
She found that they would appear in her room a lot. At first she thought it was kind of a nuisance, or they would appear outside her window. But she started to realize she could commune with them and accept that there was something different about her, and kind of chose to lean into what the animals could teach her. As they kind of became her only friends. Um, and they in turn kind of taught her how to survive, but also thrive in an environment that is only ever pushing you down. Um, Again, very a la our classic tale we're modeling after. She began to train in the way that animals would train, a little bit more animalistic, a little bit more
Yeah.
instinct, a little bit more survival based. That's why she's undernourished, because she's not eating much, but she's muscular, because what else was she to do other than basically be a slave to the Elwyn household when she was inside the estate. But outside she was, oh, look, the beautiful orphaned child that we took in. Ha 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 ha. We love to parade ourselves. Um, but that was kind of the choice that got her to where she is. She's in herself. She's a survivor, but she is trained with and communed with animals in a way that has created a different person than she was before.
I love it. I really do love that. That's super good. And if you hear me go quiet for a minute, it's because I'm taking notes. Um, yeah. Um, okay, cool. So what was the specific choice that you made to leave the house?
So that kind of came later. She was about 21 years old. Um, and she was able to escape. It wasn't so, I mean, it was a choice in the way of there was an opportunity provided to her, and she was able to take it. Specifically, when she was young, there was a servant who worked in the house who was sympathetic and kind to her. If I can find her name, Adriana, maybe. I wrote it down.
Yeah.
She was a kind nurse and very sympathetic towards me, but she was fired by my family. And the animals basically delivered a letter from her with instructions of where to meet and how she could help me escape. And so while we were on one of our charity parades, I basically at that point had been able to cause animals to create a distraction where I could escape and get to her.
I love that. I really love that. Cool. Cool. All right. So Tara, you're up.
Let's go.
Um, living as an adolescent. Explain to me the choice that you made from moving from the brothel, I should say, and that brothel lifestyle and everything, moving towards being a soldier. That's a huge jump there. Can you explain to me that choice a wee bit more?
Yes. So Helena, through leading the pack of brothel brats, discovered that she was ambitious, she was driven. Being micromanaged and controlled the way she would have been had she become a full-fledged courtesan was just not something she wanted to do. She's not subservient. She's very dominant. She's very go at it, go hard. And there also aren't many opportunities for a brothel brat, but the army's always taking anybody. And she went, this is an opportunity for me to go into an environment where it's familiar in a way because she's being given direction. She's being told what to do, where it's pretty much merit-based. The harder I hit, the better I do, the quicker I'm going to rank up. So
Right.
it was a semi-familiar environment of camaraderie and being given orders and having a goal or a purpose and having training. But it was one where she knew she had control over herself and she could gain more control as she ranked up.
Love it. So if I'm understanding correctly, moving to the army at, what was it, 16? Is that right? 16?
Yes.
Moving up the ranks was a huge goal, as well as having the freedom and prestige that came with that. Is that right?
Oh, yeah. So Helena's the kind of soldier who didn't want to be at the top making plans. So she didn't want to rank all the way up. She wanted to get to a point where she had a small group that she was in control of, because that's what she was familiar with.
Yeah.
And be down in there in the dirt with her soldiers, doing what she loves, which is hitting hard and getting hit and winning the battles. You know, the brass might get the accolades and the medals, but it is the soldiers who win the battles.
Right. Very cool. It's interesting that you say that because, you know, the one of the things that we said in one of our teasers for this is that, like, what is one of your hidden talents or whatever? And you mentioned playing chess. So you are good at strategizing.
Yes.
You just don't want
she doesn't want to do it.
Okay, cool. So you're naturally good at it and you do have skill within it. You just necessarily don't want to do it as a career choice. Is that what I'm
correct? Yeah. She could do it just fine, but she knows if she goes to the planning and the strategy side of things, if she ranks up so much, she's going to be behind a desk. And absolutely not. She wants to be down in the dirt with her soldiers so she can adjust the plan on the fly if she needs to for the best possible outcome. But she doesn't want to sit in front of a map and push tokens around. Absolutely not.
Right.
Listeners, you might want a little context too. So my husband is in the army. So some of the things I'm saying are going to sound absolutely bonkers. But it does come from a little bit of life experience. So just for a little bit of context.
Right. Hey, we love life imitating art, or art imitating life, I should say. Um, yeah, so you want to get high enough in rank to not necessarily create the plan, but you still have the agency to be able to adjust the plan as needed.
Yes, exactly.
Cool, 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 cool. Um, all right. So last thing, um, just in general, besides that specific choice to go into the army and whatnot, were there any other specific choices that you believe you made during that career? You're 28 now. You've been in the army for 12 years.
Yep. Um, hmm. She could have chosen several different things to do. She could have been cavalry. She could have been an archer. And she chose to be infantry. She chose to stay boots on the ground from the beginning to the end. You know, she didn't want to sit back with a bow and arrow. She didn't want to be up high on a horse. She wanted to be down in the mud. Down in the mud and the blood swinging her sword. That's where she's happiest.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay, cool. Very cool. All right, that's a great answer for that. All right, does anybody have any questions for each other on any of the answers that were given for each other's tier two living as an adolescent? All right, sounds good. Sounds good. It seems like this is going to be more stuff for you all to explore in depth with each other in character as we go. Um, And what we're going to do now is we are going to go definitely speed round through tiers 3 and 4, just because I'm going to, keep it to a one sentence, two at most, um, uh, for the questions that that I'm going to shout out for tier 3 and tier 4. Tier 3 is life before joining the party. I'm going to ask you all the same question with this. That way you can have an answer sort of pre-prepared or prepared for. I said pre-prepared, prepared for this. And that question is going to be, what are your passions? What are your current passions that you have? Okay. Um, Noah Carter, Abaddon, you are up first. What are your current passions? Keep 1 to 2 sentences.
My current passions are fine wine and court gossip. I tend to enjoy them both, even amongst the priesthood. Besides, the monks are the ones that look after the casks. That's where the good things are.
I love that. I love that so much. You mentioned court gossip. That's amazing. I immediately, for some reason, thought New Girl, and it's like, who's that girl? It's Abaddon.
I am Jess.
Oh my
Who wants
gosh.
to be Schmidt?
No, no.
Oh my
I
gosh.
love Schmidt.
I love
Guys,
Schmidt so much.
just shout out. Once we get above a certain view threshold, I will sing the New Girl theme song as Abaddon. So just like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe to listen to Abaddon's specific music choice of singing the extended version of uh who's that girl? It's Abaddon.
It's
Um
Abaddon.
all right. Next up is Chaz. What are your current passions?
My current passions are two things: finding some decent food around this town, and then second one is my pet mouse Nantucket.
Your pet mouse Nantucket. This is the first I'm
Nantucket.
hearing about him.
You've heard about Nantucket.
Tell me about Nantucket really quick. Really quick.
Nantucket is a little mouse. He likes to sleep in my clothes. He is also missing his fingers in the exact same places that I am.
Did he gamble
I didn't
them
cut him
away
off.
as
I did
well?
not cut him off. Who said I found him like that?
Nantucket owed you a debt and you decided, ha,
Yeah, Nantucket owes me a Wookiee life debt.
I'll teach you a lesson.
Yeah.
love it.
Just think of
And
that.
Nantucket goes with you pretty much everywhere. He's like a companion of yours.
Even the bathroom.
Love it. Jason or Quincy Durand. What are your current passions?
Well, my current passions are fighting ne'er-do-wells, song, poetry, sword fighting, causing a ruckus, and horseback riding.
Love it. On the beach, on the
Uh,
cliffs, or just
Sunset.
Quincy,
sunsets, just around town. Um, yeah, it's pretty hot.
you heard it here first, girls. Quincy is a horse girl.
what is your favorite type of ne'er-do-well, as you said?
My favorite type.
Yeah, like the one you would arrest, your favorite to
The
go after.
ones that really make it challenging for me, because as part of my bounty hunting, I love to put on a show whenever I'm going going after them. That's actually I actually collect tips usually afterwards,
Ooh, it's a
because of
performance.
yeah, exactly.
That's super cool. That's like, yeah, that's really cool. That's a cool answer for that. All right, Kate, what are your passions currently? Or Tilda,
Tilda's passions are reading because of, the books that were given to her by her
naturally.
adopted father. Something important of her life after escaping is when she escaped, um, Adriana, the slave or the servant of the household who was discharged, who helped her, was murdered in the process while she was trying to be captured back by the family. So part of her passion is also kind of like avenging her in a way. And also ale. Recently, she's been hitting up some taverns, working some shifts as she's been a little underground, and she's really gotten into it.
Whoa there. Okay, so bringing up the murder of a friend and then yeah, yeah,
Murder
bringing in
and ale.
bringing in
A great
murder and ale.
podcast.
The murder and ale. That's my favorite podcast. That's also my favorite passions.
Murder She Drank.
Love it. That'd be cool. All right. We're scrapping bastard children. We're going murder she drank. Uh everybody, welcome to the podcast. Sorry.
Only if you do an Angela Lansbury impression.
I can't. I can't. It's too bad. Tara, passions.
Helena has three things that she's going to be doing if she's not on a mission. Honing her mind with chess, and in the world of D&D, that would be dragon chess. Honing her body by sparring, training, running, working out, or having a little bit of fun in a tavern.
What does having a little fun in the tavern look like for you? Is that just drinking or
Usually drinking
gambling
and
or
then finding somebody to take back to the barracks with her.
Oh, okay. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
That kind of fun. I'm with you.
Yeah. Think your stereotypical single soldier.
Unfortunate. Love it.
And once they get back to the barracks, then you beat them in dragon chess, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Nice. Nice. That's
Oh,
what I
you
was thinking
lose?
too.
Never mind.
Uh-huh.
Helena is not the type of person to lose.
All right, awesome. So Helena Helena answered that really well. You guys blasted through tier three. Tier three is really cool for life before joining the party. I think the passions thing is really good. And I think it's a really good segue to what we call the mundane. So I'm going to pick two out of these really quick just to run through it. And it's going to be the same questions for everybody. What is your favorite color? And where would you like to vacation? Those are the two questions that you guys get to answer on that. Actually, or for instead of what is your favorite color, you have the choice between two. What is your favorite color, or what are your favorite types of music? And that can be like an earth equivalent, I guess, of like, whatever. Yeah, if you wanted to go that route. So starting off with Abaddon, Abaddon, your choice. You can answer what is your favorite color, what is your favorite type of music, and then to finalize it, where would you like to vacation?
I prefer the musical sounds of the harpsichord played in court. It has a certain nobility to the sound of it. It is relaxing after all these years. In terms of vacation, I've heard the Helicast Mountains are very nice this time of year.
Yes, the mountains, the Helicast Mountains, specifically leading into the nearby city of Helicatan, within Salon Parvati, which is the continent which you guys are in, just outside of Everil. It's about, I think, 200 miles out. It's something close to that, if I'm remembering correctly. I don't have the map pulled up in front of me. Yeah, that'd be a really fun. That'd be a really fun place. What intrigues you about the mountains?
The snow on the mountaintop reflecting the sun. It shines brightly, as if a beacon for something better.
That is beautiful, especially in stark contrast of the mountains, specifically around Helicatan or the Helicast Mountains, that are a stark, dark gray granite mountain. The snow against it truly is a sight to behold. All right, Chaz, you are up next. Favorite type of music, favorite color, and then where you would vacation.
Well, my favorite type of music is anything that's playing at the tavern or whatever that I'm gambling. I'm not much for the music, I'm a little bit tone deaf. I'm not gonna lie. I can't really sing. I can't really dance. I've tried once or twice, and people have kicked me off the dance floor. So it's just whatever happens to be playing. I'm not searching it out or anything. And then the place I'd like to go on vacation is Disney World. Buddy Lucky Hands is a
Capitalism.
Disney adult.
Yes.
I hear Tokyo Disneyland is actually very good this time of year.
No, he does not want to go to Tokyo. Too much city, too big of a city. It's bigger than Everil. How does that even exist?
So okay, so yes, you're using a real world equivalent of Disney. Uh, what would
Disney's
make
not
Buddy?
canon.
No, no, remarkably not. The mouse has no power here.
Oh, my mouse
Wh-
does.
I
Nantucket.
was about to say.
Nantucket does, yeah. um, what would prompt Buddy Lucky Hands to want to go to Disney? That's just a fun question.
Where dreams come true, baby. Where
Love
dreams
it.
come true. Also, he just loves the Haunted Mansion ride. How do they make them appear transparent even though they're animatronics? I know it's a mirror trick, but how did it even work?
A moment of silence for that. Uh, all right, awesome, Buddy Lucky Hands. That's such an incredible answer. I hated all of it. No, that was wonderful. Quincy Durand up next. Favorite color, favorite music. Where would you go on vacation?
Real quick, favorite color is yellow. Favorite type of music is pretty much anything with some pep in it. And I would like to go on vacation eventually to the sinking island of Oakley Baldoyle. I hear it's very nice whenever it's above water. And sounds like a great place.
Yeah, the continent of Oakley Baldoyle being a very interesting geographical anomaly within Noonbar where for 5 months out of the 10-month year, it is completely submerged in water based off of the tri-moon rotation around Unbar Dune, causes the waves and the water to just completely flood it. It is, however, known as a really good vacationing spot within Unbar Dune, specifically because of its tourism. They make a living off of those 5 months a year. It's near the Triton kingdoms. There's trade that generally happens, unless they're warring Triton nations, which does happen on occasion. Yeah, Oakley Baldoyle is super, super, super cool and a very good vacation spot. What would bring you over there besides it's just being a geographical anomaly?
Well, trying different foods, drinks, and also I just love the beach.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We will make a point at maybe at some point in this campaign, if you guys make it over to Oakley Baldoin for whatever reason, we'll make sure you get a horse ride on the beach.
It's quite far. I
It
don't
is
know how we
very
would do
far from
that.
salad per body. It is very far from salad per body. But hey, you never know. You never know where this campaign will lead. No, for the most part, this campaign will be staying within salad. Um, all right. Tilda, music, color, vacation.
I'll be quick. Color green. Music. She wasn't allowed to listen to music or really do anything, but again, similar to Buddy, um, tavern, bards, the sounds. She also is very fond of just nature in itself. She's kind of in and out of living in the woods. And really, because she has spent almost her whole adolescence inside a gated estate, she would go literally anywhere other than Everil on a vacation.
That's really fair. That's really fair. Yeah, anywhere outside of Everett. You know, the world is your oyster. You get to choose where you're going and all that sort of fun stuff. What shade of green?
Forest green, like that deep
Ooh, forest green.
emeraldy forest, like what you would see at the tinges of the early stages of fall, the trees.
Right. Interesting. Oh, that's a beautiful. Okay. Okay. I'm with you. I can visualize that color. That's really pretty. Um, that would be somewhat foreign to you as well, because directly outside of Everil is the Red Benevix Forest. The Red Benevix Forest has this constant state of, in Earth we call them evergreen trees. These would be ever red trees, where whenever their leaves fall to the ground, they turn this beautiful brown and gold coloration with streaks of silver within them. So looking for that forested green would be a little bit harder to find. You would have to move farther south of Everil past the Red Benevix Forest to be able to see something like that. So
Yeah, I'd
that
like to say she heard of that. I don't even think she's seen the color. I think she heard of it in some of her fairy tales. Like, that's a descriptive color.
that's super cool. I love that. That is awesome. Okay. Um, and Helena, last up for tier 4, the mundane. Favorite color, music, or and vacation.
All right, so she doesn't have a favorite color, but a favorite color scheme, and that would be minutes old blood, not fresh, dripping off of a steel sword. Her favorite music is the cadences that they would sing to train to, and also the war songs that they would sing to, boost themselves up before going into battle. And she could care less about vacations, because that's just a distraction.
That
Okay,
is so cool.
okay.
Go
Everyone
ahead,
made fun of me for my mom stopping a thief,
Guys, wait, what's that?
but your favorite color is
What's
blood.
that? What's that, guys? I hear Chester Bennington vocals just coming in on the background now. What's that crawling in my skin? These wounds, they won't heal.
If there's blood on your sword, it means you have stabbed someone and you're probably going to win the battle.
Or you're bleeding out from your armpit.
Or you're a psychopath serial killer.
You will
Or-
learn more about Helena's true colors in the campaign.
Or
So,
now hear me out, guys. Hashtag I can fix her. Hashtag I can
oh
fix
my
her.
gosh. No,
Don't worry.
absolutely not. So that's such a cool concept, Helena, that I kind of dig that color scheme so much. I kind of think that's what your chessboard colors would be. One of which is the blood dragon
Oh,
red,
yeah.
and then the other is like a steel colored metal.
Yeah.
And that's kind of metal, man. I
I
love it.
love that. I hadn't thought of that. That's so cool.
That's fun. That's really cool. And you said you don't care much for the vacation. You don't care much for the vacation.
No, Helena's not somebody who's prone to burnout. She's not, she loves her life. She has created a life that she enjoys. She doesn't need a vacation from it.
That is, yeah, that's really fair. That's really fair. Wow. You guys have answered so many really good questions. That brings us through tiers 1, 2, 3, and 4. As a reminder, tier 5 of the 5 tiers of character creation, tier 5 can't be answered until you all meet each other because that's the current. So, like, what are your initial thoughts about the party? What are your current thoughts about where you are in life? How did you get exactly where it is that you are? Why did you come here? Where are the things you were looking for in your future? Where do you see yourself in 6 months, a year, 5 or 20, that sort of stuff? So, honestly, I think that this is a great place for us to wrap up for session for our session 0. Thank you all so much for listening, dear listeners. I'm going to get everybody to sign off real quick, giving their name as well as their character name one more time, just so everybody knows it really quickly. Just going down the list one more time, and then what we're going to do is we're going to pick up exactly where we left off with session 1, the letter. With that being said, my friends, we're signing off. Noah.
Hey guys, this has been Noah Carter, and I've been playing Abaddon Renivar. It's been a pleasure. Have a good night.
Jazz.
Buddy Lucky Hands.
And yeah, peace.
I've been Jason and Quincy. See you later.
It's been real. It's been Kate, and it's also been Tilda.
This is Tara playing Squad Commander Helena Elias. Thank you for listening.
All right. Thank you guys so much. This is Noah Woodyard, the Dungeon Master for the Bastard Children of Everil and Unbardoon Adventure. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys for session 1, the letter.